Hello. Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
hey.
Hello. How'd yours week go?
Pretty good. We got a lot done. I think it's going to be a lot more than you guys expect that we got done.
Elizabeth has been
That's
quite a little rock star, is what I have to say about that.
good.
I've been home from work, so because of my shoulder surgery. So I'm like, when we started on it, I was like,
Uh-huh.
I can't stop. I have to keep going. So, but I've gotten a lot knocked out so that when I do return to work next week, I don't feel as like overwhelmed by making sure that we have
Wow.
everything in line. So,
Okay, nice. Well, I'm excited to see what y'all have so far.
well, let me share my screen so you guys can see where we're at. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so this is we're still working on styling. That's something Laura, here's kind of our to-do list of who's doing what basically for task wise. Um, we're going to, I'm still working. I have one more category to set up for the template for and get it operational. And we've got some styling issues to go through and kind of tweak and make pretty again. And then adding the category images on the homepage, like a visual of what the template looks like. And then Laura's going to work on styling the page in general and making sure that the sizing of the menu button is more accessible or visible. Um, I'm going to work on fixing the introduce me button so that it doesn't just look like text. Um, she did let's see, the user stories already. Our server is completely set up. And so we're just kind of getting little bitty things completed after getting the big portion of it started. So this is our current page. Obviously, it's not set size wise yet. We have all of our categories. This is a single PEC selector. So you type in what you're looking for and you select it, and then it can show, whatever you want it. It could be hamburger, it could be beer, it could be wine. There is a safe search or a strict search option set without being logged in as a user because we don't want someone to access something that's explicit that shouldn't be accessing something that's explicit. Um, there is a parent-child mode where the parent sets up the app and can lock things in place for the child, like the daily task list, for example. If they have certain things they're supposed to complete each day, the child can check the boxes, but they can't change the tasks. The parent sets that up. But it also already has AI speech integration so that it's also a way for someone to have the verbal aspect to it if they aren't verbal. Um, and it can be cleared. Let's see, we have sentence selector where you can add more. Um, so like say you're at a restaurant, you want a steak. Oh, we're back in single. I clicked the wrong button. Sentence. Um, you can add salad. Oop, type Elizabeth. I just did the same thing. Sorry guys, I'm not awake yet. But you can add up to, I believe, 20 words total in a sentence creator because generally a sentence can be up to 15 to 20 words in total. And then it can say it together, or you can say it independently as you're ordering, but it's already preset to say the words that you need it to say. Um, as if you're in a restaurant, as an example. Um, here are I don't have the in an emergency setup. I'm going to work on that today and try to get that template created and plug in the certain portions of it that we felt were important. Today's schedule, it can obviously say the word while it's digital, but after you add the task, or the parent does, You can also, it can be printable if you don't have a login or you need it to be handed to the individual to leave the house and they aren't on an app or whatever the need may be. It's downloadable, it's printable, and you can do it by a certain section or the whole thing. The same thing with, let's see, our dark mode also works so that it's ready to go. Detail, let's see, daily task list is one that I use it at my house for my kiddo who has Down syndrome because just in the morning, I need her to make sure that she's checking her boxes and getting ready to get out the door for school. So what do you have left to do? Brush your teeth, brush your hair. Let's go do those things and check them off, and then we can leave. And that helps her just stay on task, helps her be more efficient in the morning so that I'm not having to follow her around and show her exactly what tasks she uses or needs to do. And doing this with the PECS website without having a template in place already that she can just check off and lock is much harder than having something like this. So this is going to be really beneficial in my household. But the let's see. There's a daily chore list and a weekly chore list. So the daily chore list is very similarly created, whereas the daily, or let's see, the weekly has each day there's a certain chore that you do around the house that's not something that is a daily task to complete. And this one, when our audio button did not get added to this one, so I'll add that. But the describe the chore is what is spoken out loud verbally versus what the PEC card reads, because the PEC card will be a single word, and sometimes it's take off your pajamas, put them in the hamper, or take your laundry hamper to the laundry room, and you want it to be more than just a picture of laundry for them to go, well, what am I supposed to do with the laundry basket? So that will actually describe more in depth than what is on the PEC card itself. And then let's see. Obviously we have first then, this one, first homework. Then, and I use this one, I think, with Laura. So then trampoline, and we've added it to where sometimes there's going to be a variety of the word that has an S to it, but you can select, oh, come on. Which, like this one, is a singular. First, you do your homework, and it gives the kiddo what they have to do first in order to earn their reward, or get what they want to do. It helps in transitions. And there's a consequence and reward. That one is more of like, because you did this, this is your consequence. Or because when you complete this specific unpreferred task, this is your reward for doing that. It may be going to Sonic. It may be a simple toy that they haven't played with in a long time. But these are kind of our categories. And our introduce me button is editable so that it tells exactly, let's see. I'll play it so you can hear it.
My name is Elizabeth and I use this app to help me communicate. Thank you for your patience.
I don't know if it's just me, but I haven't heard any of the noises.
Oh, you haven't? Okay. It may.
I hear them a little
Oh,
bit.
really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can hear them like
Okay.
a little bit. It's like very
Okay.
faint.
Yeah, it may be
Alright.
because my sound is turned down so it doesn't blast my ears off.
Yeah.
But it will say, here, let me see if I can, there you go. That's it, the text of what I have it set to say. Automatically, it will say, I can't remember what the introduce me message says. I can look in the coding and figure that out. Like there's a automatic message that pops up that is like editable once you get into it a little bit. But the initial just says, hi, I think it says, hi, I use this app to communicate. Thank you for your patience. That way it gives like a small introduction, but doesn't introduce the person's name. They can set that up themselves.
Yeah.
But it does have, let's see, it has resource links that give social stories, as far as where you can go, and if you're taking your child to the doctor and it's not something you do on a regular basis and they're scared of the doctor, it helps them, like, they can read the story as many times as they want, to be able to prepare themselves. It helps parents find those resources too for at home, whereas social stories in general are something that's normally used only in the school setting or therapy setting, as an example, for having that set up. And if they haven't been to the speech therapist, or they haven't, it's been summer, they don't have that access to their teacher to have that social story, this gives them that resource. And then in settings, it does have a way to change language. So if there is a bilingual situation going on where one party speaks Spanish and the other one does not, you can kind of translate using audio, for changing it into whichever language you want it to be in. It has device pairing where the parent's account can pair with the child's device individually, because I didn't want there to be having to have two accounts, and or think that you can set up the child's and have to have a passcode every time and then take the kid's iPad, and that causes not fun behaviors or emotions that pop up when it's their device and that's their way of communicating. You're taking their voice from them. So this allows the parent to edit things from the parent's app, and it applies on the child's app. I'm trying to think of what else I've done. I think that's about it. I know that all of our like text colors and background colors, I tried to keep ADA compliant. That was something that was really important to me because I wanted anybody to be able to use the app, not just someone who doesn't have visual problems or something of that nature as well. So that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean, today's day one, so it's way ahead of where people normally are. So, yeah, it's
Yeah.
great. Laura, how's your experience been?
So I have done far less than Elizabeth, that's for sure. But I mainly was kind of focusing on trying to say why this was an important thing to someone that maybe was not as familiar with this type of deal. In that the user stories, and then since I had kind of volunteered to um so like do some styling, on the page, like I was kind of trying to find color palettes that are, more ADA compliant, that are high contrast, as well as fonts that are supposed to be more easy, like more readable, I guess. And
Mhm.
evidently there's a font that's been developed that's called Lexend. You may already know about it, but I guess it's supposed to be very easily readable. So I don't know if it's like a font that's specifically for, people maybe even that are dyslexic or just visually impaired in some way, or I don't know. But anyway, let me, I can show the user stories here. Minimize this and get my thing up here. Okay. Okay, it's GitHub.
While you do that, I will say there is a whole organization for this. You probably came across it when you were looking into this, but the I say WCAG, but it's WCAG,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, and they have free browser tools like Chrome extensions that you can install, and it'll evaluate your website for you and give you ratings based on like your contrast of your foreground to your background and your text size and all that good stuff. So there are some resources out there that you can actually use to test it. Most styling libraries, the major ones for sure, they usually develop their tools with accessibility in mind. But you always want to double check. But they usually have configurations that you can include to make your ADA more explicit as well. So that is something you could look into. I think we're using Daisy. I want to say Daisy does definitely do it.
Okay.
So that is something to keep in mind as well.
Okay. That's good to know. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay. All right. So, oops. Okay. So basically the user stories, I was trying to pick, three different, individuals. Of course, these are all fictitious people, but three different people that might be using this app in, or yeah, in three different ways, basically. So I um picked like maybe a middle-aged man who's, wanting to just do life normally, basically be able to talk when he needs to, be able to not have to carry around the Elizabeth told me that the thing that they carry around it's like the size of an iPad, so it's big, and kind of heavy. It's called an AAC device. Yes, that. And that thing
This is
costs
this is my daughter's. It cost $7,000.
Oh my
seven
goodness.
thousand
And
Oh
dollars.
my goodness.
yeah. And it took us approximately 18 months to get in our hands.
Wow.
So
It's
that's
And it
why
does,
I was like, there needs to be a free option of this so
mm,
that anybody can access it. First responders who are having trouble communicating with someone who's autistic in the streets. Like I don't want to see someone have significant
mhm,
injuries because they aren't able to speak. They don't have a voice. This is their voice and maybe it's dead. Maybe they left it at home. I mean, it's heavy.
mm,
So that's why I'm only using my left hand to hold it because it would hurt my right arm. But it requires a specific type of charger. A regular USB Type C is what it would use, but it has to be super long to reach into the case because the
mm,
case is bulky. But
Mm.
yeah, that's that's why this has been
mm,
inspired.
mm. Does
No.
that device do exactly what you're creating?
No. So it doesn't have the templates like first then. It doesn't have daily task lists. This is more of like push a button and it says the word that you're trying to say. You can
Mm,
create sentences, but it's so highly customized for my daughter that she knows where the buttons are, but I have to hunt for them for a while. It's not categorized in a way that makes sense to me. It's
mm,
more her level. And I mean, you can customize it and add pictures and certain people or words that she uses regularly that she has communication breakdown with, but it's a task. Even her teacher's like, I need you to add a button because I can't do
mm.
it. I can't figure out how to do it. So
Gotcha. Okay.
Another thing, I can't imagine, and I can't speak for Elizabeth's daughter, or Elizabeth, but I would imagine, it's probably you probably feel like you stick out, if you're carrying this thing around and you have to, you know, figure out what you're trying to say and then hold it up to the person. I mean, that's probably not super I don't know, that probably feels a little odd, rather than just like having your phone, you just, I mean, everybody's showing people stuff on their phone all the time. There's nothing, unusual about that. So, but yeah, like another possibility is maybe a teacher, somebody that is not I actually I did this one with Elizabeth in mind, this user story who, does not necessarily have, some sort of um speech or communication issue themselves, but has somebody that does, and wants to help, empower them to be able to, speak and just do whatever they need to do. And also to try and normalize the use of this kind of thing, and just make it not a big deal, for everyone involved. And then the third is a little kid. And again, I kind of had her with Elizabeth's daughter in mind. But I was trying to think, what would it would be like, to have to use this device, with other kids, and with kids' attention spans being short as they are, I would imagine that, they don't want to wait while you're, pulling out this heavy thing and trying to find, what you're trying to say. So I would imagine something that's, very intuitive and quick, would probably be the best thing. And as well, a little kid is not going to want to carry around this heavy thing, so again, something like an iPhone would be, I would imagine, way, way more easy to deal with. Um, so yeah, that was kind of the things to try and make this like humanize this a little bit and make it be why is this relevant? Why is this important, basically? And then I was going to also do some wireframing, and I still will. But as I was discovering, oopsies, um, I was going into Figma and realizing that now they have this. But the last time I used Figma, it was kind of before AI was getting everywhere. Um,
Mm.
and I realized that Figma now does, now it has an AI component, which is pretty cool. Okay, so I just did a quick and dirty, come on now. Um, all right, come on, pull up for me. Has to think about life for a little bit.
Mhm.
Okay. Just kind of you know, how this might look, in an app or whatever. You can click the buttons or whatever. And, Figma
No.
did that,
I heard that. Yeah.
Thanks for that. There. But did this in about, 2 seconds practically, but it's kind of, it's a little squirrely. Like I don't love how some of this is up here or whatever. But it made me wonder, and I was going to ask you, like I was going to just actually sketch out like with a, Sharpie and papers, basically like some low fidelity, wireframes as to how to move from screen to screen. And I wanted to ask you, like, is that still a thing, with AI whipping this kind of stuff out so fast? Is that something that is still done, or is that kind of obsolete now?
As far as like handwriting it.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything right now, but you may see I have a whiteboard
Uh-huh.
over there. You can kind of see it.
Yeah, I can see that.
So for me, absolutely. I
Okay.
would much rather not much rather, but to be able to like tactilely like get the stuff on my whiteboard and scratch it in and say, okay, I want this and this, and I can erase it. And Figma scares me. Like going
Okay.
into Figma is just I'm not a design guy, right? So it's too much for me. Now,
Okay.
I will say like vo.dev or .io, whatever, the Versal's like design tool, and Claude has one
Okay.
now too. The ones that
Mhm.
like if you have no idea and you can just go and say, hey, I have this is the app idea, blah blah blah, and it'll spit something out that looks pretty good, like this
Mm-hmm.
here. That can
Mm-hmm.
give you kind of a jumping off point
Mm-hmm.
because it is difficult sometimes to stare at a blank page or a blank whiteboard and go, well, what should happen. So
Yeah, where do I even begin?
yeah, so definitely great tool. But yeah, definitely there's nothing wrong with ever pencil and paper, whiteboard, just however you want to, get it done.
Okay.
And I would say with AI, I would say it's definitely just as important because that would still be a great starting point because you can then take those as images or whatever other file, and then you can actually share it with the design tool. Like you should be able to upload a photo to here and say, "Hey, I want this layout," and then it'll
Yeah.
recognize the layout, and then it should build it with that in mind as well.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay, that makes, yeah, I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. It's so there's it's yeah. It's kind of getting used to the idea of like AI is not replacing, but it's more so like that tool. So like, because if you let it do just from scratch, it's gonna like come up with its own design. It's gonna do all that. But if you point it in a direction, then it's gonna go based off that. And if you create rules for it, I would say that you doing the handmade part is still like just as important as ever with that in mind.
Okay. That's comforting to hear, actually, because I always kind
Mhm.
of
Yeah.
liked wireframing, and I thought, oh man, I mean, this is really cool, but I wonder if now that's
Yeah.
something that's falling away to the wayside or something.
Mhm.
Okay, that's good to know. Well, then I will, indeed go forward with that as well. Then.
If it makes you feel any better, I forgot. I can't say it. It's like a memo sign or something like that. Oh,
Uh-huh.
it's blurring it out. But it's like a special notebook. It's designed for like drawing diagrams and like visit like you know like physically drawing like your design and layouts and stuff that you want. And and I got that and like if I want like to build a design based off of it, I'll just take a picture of my handwritten stuff and then you can still do it that way as well if you're doing
Cool.
handwritten. So
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Yeah, the
pretty much.
big
Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say the biggest thing with the tool, like Derek was saying, is like you have to guide it, right? So you're gonna give
Correct.
it something, and then it might like two or three iterations like stick to what you want, but then it might get a wild hair and try to do
Yeah.
something else. So you got to be like, hey, you know what? I didn't want dark mode yet, or I don't like those colors. So just it's a great tool, but you got to use the tool and guide the
yeah.
tool.
Sure. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I will stop sharing. That is pretty much Elizabeth was like incredibly what's the word I'm looking for? Like prolific, I guess. Like with she did basic like I haven't even gotten into the code yet. So
Mhm.
basically all of this code is totally Elizabeth. So I'm going to get into that, this week and kind of and work on styling and kind of, get start writing the code for that is going to be my
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah.
We're still super early, so
Yeah.
you
And
want to
don't
get
and
that.
don't think that like
Yeah.
what you're doing is less important because definitely the user stories and the design and all of that stuff is just as important as the writing the actual code. So this is all part of the development process, right?
Okay.
So,
And with that, I will say, because a lot of the times when we do capstone we get a lot of projects where people are building like a recipe app, they're just showcasing their skills. This has some real world application, so I'll definitely tell you to work with that mind, like not to like not try to put like any pressure or anything on you, but if this is something that you plan on keep on working on post capstone, it definitely has a lot of real world use and uh some good use cases for sure. So I would just say design with that in mind because a lot of times we are just building to show that hey, I can do this. I can do a fetch. I can fetch an API. Those different type of things. But I will say like something like this because if you plan on working on it post capstone, and it's also a good practice to have in general, but just building the application to be scalable is the word, the buzzword you hear a lot. So building it to where um once you get to the end of the capstone and deliver it, you're not going to have to do a major reconfiguration to continue building off of it and expanding it. So you want to build it to where it's expandable essentially, so that you can keep building onto it, whatever different ideas you have on it. And that's what like me and Brian are here for. If you need help being guided in that direction or anything like that, or you just have any questions, we're here to our job is to help you go in that direction, or if it's even if it was just like a project that you were just building to showcase our skills, we're here to help in like whatever way we can.
yeah, agreed. And I'll say, like obviously, like Derek said, this already has real world applications. Elizabeth, you're going to use it for your kiddo. Um, And like there's I don't know the numbers, but obviously there's a lot of people out there that could use this and that don't have 15 grand or whatever to buy a device. And I would also imagine there's probably some sort of grants or something to get a device like that. So that's money potentially you could get in the future just for, building out this app. Um, and then I want no pressure on this at all, but obviously, if this was an actual mobile app that you could download from the stores, it would be probably a lot easier because PWAs are good, but not a lot of people understand like, oh, I can put this site, on my phone. It's much easier to say, hey, I can go to the App Store and get this app. So if like I'd say week 3 comes along and like you feel like this is good, like the web version is good, we can definitely dive into making it a mobile app and getting it in the stores and all that stuff. And obviously,
I,
we want to deploy the web app as well, so you can get it out there.
right. I wanted it to be both so that it can
Yeah.
be used on website, like as an
Mhm.
example, Sailor's teacher. If she's creating a daily schedule for a student, this is your specific daily schedule. You go to this classroom at this time for gen ed time, or we have specials at this time, or whatever that may be. It's easier. I'm going to be honest. I have tried to make daily schedules, and navigating, finding a PEC specific to the task
Mm.
is so painful.
Yeah.
I had no idea there's an API database that's free, it's licensed, but they want that database to be free because there aren't apps that are free for users to use that are a voice for them.
Mhm.
So that was kind of I really want this to be able to be in everybody's hands that needs it.
Right.
Um, so that in itself is huge, but having teachers be able to pull and print, a daily task list for their student is huge. And they could do
Mhm.
it mobily and work on it and log into their account to be able to save it, or they can, be able to print it right there off their desktop at the school that they work for. So
Yep.
that
That's
was
awesome.
I want to do both. So I'll be reaching out to get all that set up before long once we get some more things nailed down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. At my full-time job, we do vaccinate. Well, we built the platform that does vaccination exemptions for the schools.
Mhm.
So we have like I have direct line of communication to someone who has direct line of communication to all the schools in Oklahoma. So we
Mhm.
can definitely make some contacts and get it out there for sure.
That's amazing. I love that.
Yeah, it'll be great.
So, because
And
I
then,
work for the public school as
oh,
in the administration building. So I'm not
gotcha.
with students, but I work in payroll, finance, and HR for our district. So
Cool. Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. The last no pressure thing. So at graduation, you will present this. I don't know if I told you that
Mhm.
before. So um, yeah, be ready for that. But yeah, we'll
Okay.
just the cool thing will be we'll have it deployed before then, so everyone in the audience
Mhm.
can go on their phone and look at it and everything. So that'll be cool. And it's it's like whatever, 5-10 minutes, however long you need to just kind of show it off. So
Okay.
um,
I'm gonna bring the AEC device with me. I'll have my
yeah,
daughter, obviously, so she'll
yeah,
have it, but I'm gonna use it in my presentation to give it as an example of why it's important
right.
because obviously not everyone can afford a $7,000 iPad and case and app, and like she had to trial 7 apps before
Mhm.
they would select one and then push it forward to insurance to be able to have insurance help cover the cost of it. So
Yeah,
it's a lot. It's a lot to
yeah,
go through and a
indeed.
lot of hoops to jump through, and
Hmm.
so
Yeah,
not
yeah. The
everybody
audience
has
is looking
that.
forward for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah, this is awesome. Don't tell anybody, but this is definitely my favorite project we've ever had.
I
I
love
know.
it.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool.
I'm so
Okay.
happy.
Yeah, I think, yeah, get back at it. Derek, do you have any other questions or anything? Advice?
No, I think so. I think there might be a possibility that we'll get to take advantage, because it sounds like it's going to be something that you were kind of leaning towards. Well, either take advantage of, we get to learn a little bit about some web sockets because they're not too crazy, or we could use Superbase's real-time capabilities, which is kind of similar. I wouldn't I wouldn't necessarily say a replacement for WebSockets because it's like more I mean, yeah, I don't know, but I think that'd be a capable because I think you were wanting something to where like two devices can interact, and like like one person can do something on one, and then the other person can like get that message immediately or interact with that without having to use the other person's device. So that would be an
Mhm.
opportunity for that, and that's something that we could learn. Like I know Brian mentioned earlier that if we needed to, we could do like a Wednesday or something. So that we could do like a Wednesday or anything like that to learn something about web cycles, or just like one of these days, we can jump in and go over them real quick, or just introduce you to them, and then y'all can learn about on your free time. I know you said you had a lot of free time, so if that's something you wanted to do, Elizabeth, you could even look into WebSockets, and then also Superbase's real-time capability.
Okay, I can do that.
Yep.
I'm adding it to my to-do list.
Cool. And I think the main difference, like, and Derek, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't have a whole lot of experience with the WebSockets or real
Right.
time, but in a regular database, if data gets added, you have to have something to like grab that data, or
Yep.
otherwise like refresh the page or whatever it is. So with the WebSockets or the real time, it would just like automatically like refresh it, so you would have it there.
Oh,
Yeah, it's just
perfect.
like, yeah, it's opening up. So it's opening up in a connection on your, it's like open up a continuous like connection on your app, and then on the other device, like on the it's like a server to server or device to device connection. So it's like tell them like, hey, we're gonna stay open and we're gonna listen to each other. It's just listening to each other, and then when one puts out something, it catches it immediately, and then it updates the interface on the other one. So if you implement real time into your application, you're just open. It's real time is essentially doing the same thing. It's just opening that connection and then listening to it. It's listening to that connection actively. So
I think
yeah.
Okay, great.
in I think I know what you're talking about now. In Google Cloud, it's or Google environment, it's called PubSub. So it's publish a message and subscribe to the message. So the subscriber
Yeah,
is like constantly listening to see if this gets published. So
exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
cool. Okay.
So the advantage of real time, the main difference is that with real time, it's immediately saved to a database as well. So it's like two things at once. With WebSockets, you'd have to configure it to store and listen at the same time. So I guess that's the advantage of real time. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Brian.
No, you're good. Yeah, it makes sense. I think it's used a lot like with like uh gambling apps and stuff because it's like you got to know, okay, hell, okay, the pony just crossed the thing or whatever, who won, who got their money, all that stuff.
Yep.
Obviously probably in a lot more things as well, like chatbots maybe, but
Yeah.
um
I actually used it for like a map, building a custom map and then tracking the location data. So you
that
can
makes sense. Yeah.
actually track the actual route that somebody went, and it tracks those points as they go along that route.
Yeah. A lot of uses.
A lot, yeah.
Cool. Y'all got any other questions for us? All good.
Not off the top of my head.
Okay. Well, yeah, get back at it. We'll be around, probably not directly at our computers, but we can definitely hop back on if y'all need us. Otherwise, yeah,
Okay,
just, you're doing great. Keep it going.
thanks.
Cool. All right. See you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.